Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk about EMP money. I think a lot of people were confused in the last one. Last time I was just talking about Detonator. I got a lot of comments saying, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. EMP money is more than Detonator. And I'm aware of that. And I was just talking about Detonator in my last video. I've since been kind of watching this. I put some more into Detonator and also the boardroom. And I want to talk about how the system works altogether. I ran a poll and I noticed that there's a lot of people that haven't even heard of Tomb or have looked at one of these things and said, wow, there's just a lot of stuff there. I'm not even going to bother. And I think people need to understand that you don't have to do everything in here. You don't have to be in, the farms, the stakes, the detonator, the nodes, the boardroom, or bonds, and everything all at once. You don't have to do all of that. You can do, one or two or three of these things and really help the whole ecosystem work. So I just want to talk about this and to hopefully clear some things up. Yeah. So Tomb is a whole ecosystem that was built on the Phantom Network, and it's this whole idea of pegging a token to basically another token. Like for instances in this case, they're tying their EMP token to Ethereum. And this is all done algorithmically, and it also depends on the community and how the community uses the DApp and whatnot. So before I talk about all these different things, I want to talk about the different tokens that are here. And they have it lined out in the documentation. First is the EMP token. It is the one that's supposed to be pegged to Ethereum. So 4,000 EMP are supposed to equal 1 Ethereum. And that peg, when it says peg, that means it's like 4,000 to 1, that exact ratio. So with that, know that it's not a collateralized thing. There's not money backing this to be tied to Ethereum. It's all done by an algorithm, and the algorithm depends on the community, and I'll show you that in a minute. eShare is a share token, and like it says there, it's one of the ways to measure the value of the EMP protocol and the shareholder trust and its ability to maintain its EMP close to peg. So this really helps distribute the proportions. It basically helps with the boardroom, which the boardroom is there in place to basically print EMP. So when the peg goes, if it's over peg, the boardroom uses eShares to stake those there, and which prints EMP, which can bring that price down. So if it's up over peg, boardroom prints, and you can actually get EMP token by just staking eShares there. Anytime it prints on a epoch, it will actually spit out EMP tokens too if you have a stake there. So anytime it's over peg, you can actually gain EMP token, and we'll talk about that soon. I won't go read all of this word for word, but you guys can go through this documentation if you're interested. eBond is like opposite of eShares. eBond is used when EMP is under peg and some EMP needs to be burned off to actually bring the price up and peg it back with Ethereum. So you stick in your EMP in here, and it basically burns it off, and you get rewarded in eBond. And once that ratio is back above peg, you can trade those back in, those eBonds back in for EMP tokens. So it's a way to burn off EMP tokens, and then later, once it's back up over peg, you can get your EMP tokens back, and it's usually you make money when you get those back. So those are the 3 tokens that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about some of the mechanisms in here. First, there's a couple things here. Farming, these are different just LP farms that you can participate in. So this one you can do a EMP's ETH liquidity pair and stake it here, and you will earn eShare. That's where that will spit out. And if you view that, right now it's a 0.39% a day. So you could, stick that LP token in there and it will spit out eShare. And just know that there's Zap functionality all over this thing. If you click on it, you can stick in BNB, BUSD, ETH, eShare, EMP. And when you do that, it will actually create the liquidity pair for you. You don't have to go to PancakeSwap and create that. So you can do that, or if you're really bullish on BNB, there's a BNB LP with eShare and an EMP with eShare. So those are kind of things you can stick into on the farm. Staking, you can stake your straight Ethereum wrap token. It's on the Binance Smart Chain, so it's not on the Ethereum network. So you're not going to have to pay those crazy fees. You can stake that and get 100% APY. So you could basically, as long as this, stays up there, you can double Ethereum basically every year, as long as it keeps going for a year. I did a video on Detonator. I'll link to that here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's basically an ROI DApp. It has a pool. People stick in liquidity pairs into here, EMP and ETH, and you get rewarded. And it's about 0.6% a day that you actually get out of this. There are a couple things I don't like. I mean, I do like it because it's just, it just keeps cranking away. There are a couple things I don't like, and I don't like when people get in my comments and hey, because you didn't like that, you hate the whole thing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's some things that can be frustrating, or things that I just don't like about it. It doesn't mean that I hate the whole thing. One thing I don't like, and I had a hard time with this week, is this timer. I understand why the timer is there. They do daily prizes and stuff when it runs out, and people win the lottery prize and the top deposit prize and stuff like that. But if you don't claim before this thing runs out, your daily rewards are just gone. You can't if you're 5 minutes late or something, you lost the rewards for that day and it starts all over again. So this thing would just reset. So that's one thing that's very frustrating. This last week I was out with the family and, doing stuff, and I didn't have very good internet connectivity. And there were about 3 days in a row where I just didn't gain anything because it didn't, I couldn't get on and log in and, kind of baby this thing. And that's what you have to do with this. That's one thing I don't like. I still feel that, I like the idea of the lottery prizes and the top deposit prize because it does encourage investment, but I feel over the long term it's pretty dang high. And I feel like over time that can put a lot of pressure on the balance. I do think it does help encourage investment. I think people are right on that, but there is also the idea of sustainability. As long as people that are winning these things are also, not going to be selling off quickly. I mean, people do need to take, profit once in a while, but that's one thing to be concerned with. And again, like I said, I already did a video on this, so I'm not going to go into it, but this is a way that you can deposit EMP and ETH into here. And it kind of locks it up. You get rewards every day, but it keeps the EMP. What you want to do is have EMP locked up places, so the sell pressure on EMP isn't very great, and that's what keeps it up above peg. And we'll talk about why that's important soon. So that's Detonator. That's one way you can keep EMP locked up with that liquidity pair. The next one is nodes. What I do like about EMP is they have this, they have Detonator and nodes, which are, two really good pair ups. The things like Tomb, Bomb Money, all these other forks that look like this, They don't really have these. And with nodes, you actually lock up straight EMP, and it's a node. So you get, with the Giga node, which is pretty spendy, it's $3,866 right now with the current price of EMP. You get 1.35% back every day. And they have smaller ones down to a nano, which is 500 EMP, and you get, 0.9% with that every single day. So it's a way to kind of lock up that EMP and not have very much cell pressure on EMP. And it's just a way to just generate EMP, slowly over time. So that is nodes. That's I think a nice feature to add. These two, the boardroom and the bond, these are the mechanisms that really help with that peg. And you'll see why that's important right here on the boardroom. The boardroom is where you deposit E-shares. You stake these E-shares in here. And when you do that, on the next epoch, and these run every 6 hours, if the EMP peg, the time-weighted average price is 1.01 or over, at the end of that epoch, it will actually print and it will spit out EMP that you can claim. The idea behind this is that you should, the idea is that when it's over peg up here, 1.05, that's pretty, it's over pegged pretty well. The idea is when it spits this out, that people will have EMP and it will create more cell pressure on it. So people will sell it off, which brings the peg down closer to 1.00. The problem with that is if it goes, down below 1.01, this no longer prints and people aren't, gaining EMP anymore through this. So the best thing to do is try to protect the EMP. Don't sell that off. Selling EMP is like your very last resort. Like, I don't know, some guys at your door trying to repossess your car, or your kids in the hospital or something. That's when you should be selling your EMP. If not, the best thing to do with your EMP is to stick it in nodes, into Detonator, or even into farm. Nodes kind of creates the same problem because it's going to spit back at you EMP every day. Detonator, it spits back at you the EMP ETH token back. So the idea here is try not to sell the EMP. I think my best bet is, you should be in Detonator. ROI dApps are good. Nodes are really good, especially these ones that are tied to Ethereum, because that's the problem with a lot of nodes is their price just, it gets really popular, it does really well, and then the price dumps. But these nodes, because the price is supposed to be, and if the community keeps up with it, the price of the token you're getting is tied to Ethereum. So as long as Ethereum's up and this peg is protected, then what these things are generating is going to keep their value. So that being said, I think the best thing to do is take the EMP from the boardroom, and my first option is probably go straight to nodes, because then you don't have to sell half of your EMP to create a liquidity pair. But eventually people want to take profit. I mean, we're in this to make money. So with that, my first choice would be nodes. And then if I have to, if I want to take profit, the best thing to do is, over time be building up this like EMP ETH liquidity pair over here, or the EMP E-share liquidity pair over here. And when these things spit out E-share, the E-share are the things that you should be selling off, in small chunks here and there to take profit. Try not to sell your EMP. That's kind of the number one rule is don't sell your EMP unless you absolutely have to. The first choice is, stick it in a node. And then the second choice is detonator or the farm. But you still have to sell half those to get that liquidity pair. You're not going to like see this sell, but if you like view one of these and you zap in, it's going to take half of the EMP and keep it as EMP, and it's going to convert the other stuff to ETH, which is going to be a sell and create that liquidity pair. But that's way better than selling just straight EMP. So hopefully that all makes sense. So the idea here is, have something in the boardroom, it's spitting out EMP, and then dump that into nodes or detonator or into the farm. My idea is I'm in the boardroom, I'm also in detonator. I'll probably be next dumping things into nodes. Yeah, and then I'll probably just be feeding the detonator out of the nodes at that point. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably just take everything, the liquidity pairs from the detonator that I earn, and dump them into the farm and just keep generating, boardroom into nodes, nodes into detonator into the farm. There's lots of different ways you could play this. It's really up to you. Now we've talked about the boardroom. That's basically going to print. I mean, if you jump over into the Telegram group and they're all talking about printing money, this is what they're talking about. So that's a good play there. Now the bond is opposite. The bond is where if we're under peg and they really need to bring the price up, bring it back up to peg, you go in here, you deposit EMP, and that EMP gets burned off and you receive an E-bond token. And then you will just hold that E-bond token until the price can get back up over peg, and then you can come in here and redeem and get EMP back once it's up over peg. So this is all an algorithmic coin based on Ethereum, but it's really depending on people's participation and not coming in here and wrecking everything. So EMP is a great way that you can make a decent return. I mean, and you're not going to get 10% a day or anything like that. This is not a total degen move or anything like that. So just be aware of that. They do have auto vaults, which is on Yield Wolf. These vaults are also on Beefy, but I think they're actually better over here. Other places where you can stick your different liquidity pairs there. And these will auto compound, so they're a really good rate. So yeah, and then they have the docs. Go ahead and read through those docs if you're want to learn more about this. Yeah, there's just a lot here. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. Yeah, they just have a lot in here. Anyway, if you are interested in getting into this, if you got any questions, you can join the Telegram group. I'm willing to answer any questions that I can. If not, you can join their Telegram group as well. They're happy and eager to join as well. I'm hoping that I chatted with AJ a little bit earlier this week, and hoping to get on an AMA with him, and we'll record that and publish that here. Anyway, guys, if you do decide to get in this, if you want to get in the detonator, I will leave a referral link. You can use it or not. That's totally up to you. I appreciate when you do use my links, but don't feel like you're obligated to do so. But that's kind of how EMP works. I know these things can be somewhat confusing sometimes, especially if you've never seen them or been in on them, but they're a good thing, especially when a good community is behind them, which it seems like there is on this one. Anyway, guys, go ahead and like the video if you like it. Hit subscribe if you want to subscribe. Just know this is not financial advice. I'm not saying this is what you should do. Do your own research. Yeah, there's just so many things going on in DeFi. There's a lot of dApps out there that are, suspicious, and there's some that I just, we discuss them in the Telegram group and stuff like that, that I don't even do videos on. Maybe once a week I'll just do a video on just the ones I find that look suspicious or might have some problems. That might be a good thing just so people can see those. News about my dApps, Turd Burglar NFTs. I'm meeting with the NFT dev tomorrow. Just trying to get that thing out there. I've got all the NFTs created. I've got all the metadata for them done. Just waiting for him to get the contract up and the front end going. He says he has it all ready to go on his local machine, and we're supposed to have it up tomorrow and start testing, but he keeps saying that. So my second dApp, which is a more serious one, it's more of a ROI / DeFi as a service. That one, contract's pretty much wrapped up. I did get first pass from a new front-end developer done. A few things are in the works on that, some bug fixes. That's almost ready to go. I've got a few days of testing after the front end's complete because it just takes time to see what these things do over time. And I want to make sure everything's set and good. I don't want to just roll something out that's not tested very well. So that's what's going on with that. I also have a trading bot dApp that I'm going to be releasing. I've been working on the trading code, which is coming along nicely. Had a few hiccups with that, but it's looking good. But that one I'm very excited for as well. So anyway, guys, that is everything. Like I said, like the video if you like it, hit subscribe if you want to subscribe, hit the little bell if you want to be notified of new videos. Anyway, we will catch you on the next one.